Welcome to the Mother-Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today. Happy April the 6th. We have another warning for women today. We're going to talk about another show that we just so happened to see on Netflix. As a matter of fact, Angie, you're the one who told me about it, and I really didn't think I was going to like it because I was like, we don't usually like the same kind of movies, but how did you even find out about it?
I think I was at my friend's house and we were just scrolling through stuff on Netflix, and we was like, okay, we're just going to watch one episode and see how it goes, and we ended up binge watching it the whole day.
And I just noticed today that it said that they just got renewed for a second season, and they're going to be announcing the new cast soon. So I don't know if new cast mean additional people or new cast means some of the same ones are not coming back. You know how you just never know. Mm-hmm. And they may not have thought that they were going to get as much, good remarks about it, but everybody that I saw, that I know who saw it, they liked it. What were your initial thoughts about episodes? It? Because you're kind of picky like me.
You said what?
What made you just get right into the show? Because you're kind of picky like me.
I think it was just the summary alone, the way that they described it, and like looking at the characters. Some of them look familiar, and every time they earn something, I like it. So.
Oh, okay. So what was your overall opinion before I get into the warning for women? What was your overall opinion on the actual show if you had to just kind of break it down?
I have to think about that because it was quite some time ago that it came out and I watched it because I watched it as soon as it came out. Because like Netflix give me those notifications when stuff come out, but I'm not mad at how it ended. I definitely knew that they was gonna have. Well, I was hoping they was gonna have another season, but stuff like that really happened in real life.
Well, since we're talking about it today, we just kind of need to go through it, and I'm just trying to get your opinion on the show because once I do my breakdown, that's pretty much gonna be it. And I'm just gonna talk about some of the warnings that I saw that women should pay attention to, and it was only one season and it wasn't a lot of episodes or whatever, so I wanted you to go first so that I can then get into the little deep dive here. I'll probably say one or two things that people might not like, but oh well.
Yeah.
So I'm asking what's your overall breakdown of the show from what you saw, what you remember.
Let's see.
Sounds like somebody didn't do their homework.
I haven't seen it in a minute, actually.
Yeah, I went and did like a little recap. You know how they have the trailer or whatever, because I haven't seen it since last year either. There were just some things that I remembered from it that would just like make sense for women. And then after seeing all these other shows, it's just kind of like, wow, I wonder if women are paying attention to what's actually going on, because there was a definite thread in there. There was a thread of the bored housewife syndrome.
And I have some friends that kind of have it. I think the reason what interests me is because I have a friend that is having I would say similar situation to that. So it's kind of different looking into like, I guess, the woman side of it. Mm-hmm. But I do remember that one episode where that guy went ahead and he had bought a membership at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
That part was wild to me. But
why was that wild?
Because I didn't expect that. I was like, he really went and got a whole membership. And it wasn't cheap, right? It was an expensive one.
Yeah. So there was a definite thread in it, from the bored housewife syndrome to the mother guilt from her son to the just wanting to reignite something that she thought she lost from messing with the old flame and all that stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's jogging my memory. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I will go ahead and get into it because, again, like I said, there were just some things that I think that hearing it maybe from other women, maybe women will think about it. So I'll go ahead and get into Sex Life, which, like we said, is on Netflix. And so basically, the movie is about a bored housewife who felt like maybe she could rekindle a flame that kind of made her felt like, well, what if I had stayed with this guy or continued with this guy? Then I may not be a suburban bored woman who does the same routine every day. My husband gets up, he goes to work, he comes home late, we have dinner, we put the baby to sleep, and that starts all over again in the morning. So I think my first warning, and I only have 5, but my first warning for women is, before you get to that point, start thinking about ways that you can reignite the relationship, not just the guy, because if your guy is doing whatever it is that he's doing, then you got to think of ways that you can reignite the relationship. Because if not, then what's going to happen is that when that old flame comes back through, you're going to be wondering, well, what if I would have stayed with Steve? Or what if I would have stayed with this person?
Yeah.
And you never want to have that thought. It doesn't matter if you're married or if you're just engaged or if you're just dating, but think about ways that you can, if it's worth it, I will put that little caveat in there. If your relationship is worth saving, then you want to think of things you can do to reignite. For example, one thing that you can do for sure is just change your pattern in your normal routine.
Oh, for sure.
Number two, you can get out and do more together, but also do things, with the children, but more things with one another. Because one thing I noticed that women forget is that they had a life before they had kids. So kind of get back to that life of what you had, that fun, that excitement before the kid.
And then she was a little bit reckless with keeping her laptop and stuff unlocked.
I mean, I just couldn't believe that. I wouldn't leave nothing nowhere. I wouldn't even leave it if it had a password. I wouldn't even leave it if it had a password, because some people are strange. They'd be like, yeah, she used our son's birthday. Let me just go and use the son, and boom, they in. So I wouldn't even leave.
She probably got a thrill out of like just that, leaving it open, because she knew he was gonna read it.
Yeah. The next warning that I would have for women that I got from the movie Sex Life that's on Netflix, and if you haven't watched it, definitely go and catch up on it. The reason I say catch up on it is because there's going to be a second season, and you don't want to have to watch all of 1 and then watch all of 2. You can at least get in on 1, and then by the time 2 comes, you'll be kind of caught up, because probably will be here this summer or something, since it was really last summer when we watched it. But I would say there definitely is a thing of bored housewife syndrome, and that is the housewife that does the same old mundane routine every day, the housewife that is so involved with the kids and the husband that she forgets she has a life, the same woman that doesn't have a lot of friends or don't get out with their friends anymore because they feel like because they're married they're not supposed to, or they can't. So that to me is what I call the bored housewife syndrome. Now, you don't have a lot of married friends, but what would you say on a scale from 1 to 5 their excitement and happiness is of being married? Because some of them got married pretty young.
I would say about a 4 for the most part.
Well, 4 is good. 4 is really, really good. I don't know a lot of married women. And the ones that I do know, we don't really talk about their relationship, because I feel like, your relationship is so private. But I mean, I don't hear them complaining, but I think also it's because they know they can't complain to me, so that might be the reason I don't hear a lot. But, again, my first warning is to reignite the fire in the home first before you start thinking about, well, let me see if John number is the same. Because, as soon as you call John, he's going to be like, hey, baby. And then, of course, avoiding the bored housewife syndrome. Now, this one is going to be a little controversial for most people who hear this, especially if they have kids, but I just happen to really feel like this, and it is what it is, But I feel like women should get rid of their children guilt. all of that. Oh my God, I can't go to work because little Timmy's gonna cry, or oh gosh, I can't go out with the girls because my son needs me to read him a book. Like, listen, you had a life before your child was born. You have to maintain a life after they're born. Nothing's gonna happen to that kid if you leave them at the daycare, at school with grandma, whoever, while you go out and have a great time. See, this is the part that people don't understand. If the mother's not happy, the entire house is not happy.
Yeah.
Because typically the mother is the one who buys all the groceries. She's the one that washes all the clothes. She's the one that maintains the house if she's a housewife, especially. You know, she's the one that makes sure the kids doing what they're supposed to do at school. And when the teacher needs you to come up there in the middle of the day and read to the kids, or if your kid is in trouble, the mother is the one that goes and does all of that. So it's like, if the mom is not happy, then really the whole house won't be happy, because she'll start to not just have guilt, but guess what? Some mothers will have regret, and they can turn very, very upset, because once you get that regret, you're like, man, if I didn't have kids. And that's the worst thing you want to say is, what if I didn't have kids? Because guess what? You do have them. So it's like, work the best. Now, I don't know if you remember, but when y'all were kids, I always said to y'all, I have a life that does not involve you. And the reason I said that is because I didn't want to get so caught up in y'all life, because the realization of it is that I was thinking really 10 to 20 years down the road. And I was saying, why would I get so involved in what they're doing, to the fact that I lose myself in them, when I already know once they get their friends, it's going to be all about them and their friends, and they won't care what I'm doing. And they'll be asking to go to the movies with their friends, and go to their friend's house, and go to kickbacks with their friends, and they'll be asking to go to football games. And guess what? I'll be home all by myself. So if I get so involved, I thought if I got so involved with y'all, then I could lose myself. And so I just never allowed it. I just didn't. But then also I taught y'all that if I don't work, you don't eat. So don't be crying because I'm going to work. I have to say, that kid on the movie got on my nerves. Did you like the kid? Tell the truth.
I don't think so. I don't think I did.
The guilt that he was trying to give her, now she was in the wrong for what she was doing, but the guilt that he was trying to give her, because she wanted to go and be with her friend girls, and because when dad got home, he didn't want to stay there with dad. And it's because he wasn't there with dad all the time. Dad was working all day long. He had a really big, the husband on there had a really big, high powered job that really kept him away from the home. That's why he really required a wife that stayed home and cooked and cleaned and raised the kids and made sure his clothes were ready for work, and just maintained the house, where he was pretty much just the breadwinner and happy with that. Now, I heard you say you were not mad the way it ended. Are you serious?
No, not the way it ended, but the way that the way that it all transpired. I think I'm trying to think of how it even ended.
Because I don't want to tell what happened in the end, but that's why I can't wait. I'm hoping that the end is a dream, only because they're getting ready to do the season 2. I saw that they were doing season 2, and I'm saying I hope that the season 1 ending was a dream, only because if it's not a dream, it really does shatter. It really does shatter the marriage thing. So my next tip, for women, this is a warning for women, that before you allow yourself to get too bored, I think a conversation should happen. And I think that it's okay to be able to say, hey, I do the same thing every single day. I wake up, I do this, but I don't really even have time to fix myself up. I think it's okay to say, you know what, on Wednesdays, that's my day. I'm going to take so-and-so over to the daycare, or I'm going to leave him at school a little extra long for after school. And that's the day that I'm going to get my hair and my nails done. And I'm going to dress myself up and put a little perfume on, and at least look good and feel good for myself. You find anything wrong with that conversation?
No, I think it should be had. I mean, yeah.
But a lot of people won't have the conversation because they feel like it's selfish for them to be selfish with themselves. But I call that self-care. I don't even call that being selfish. I literally call that, self-care for yourself. So my final warning for women is, please don't watch this show and try to do what this girl did. Don't do it. I ain't gonna lie. It was fun. It was exciting.
The whole way through.
Yes, it was sneaky. It had you on the edge wondering what's going to happen next and how is it going to end. It made you wonder, well, what the husband got going on? You know how it is when you're doing wrong and you're like, okay, but I know you doing something. Just like,
Yeah, investing all that
nah.
time trying to track
Yeah,
somebody.
it's like, nah, you need to tend to your business because you trying to project your stuff onto me. But it was very, very, very sexy. It was very, very believable. It was so real. I'm sure this happens all the time with bored housewives. Again, I call it bored housewives syndrome. But just to wrap it all up, all I'm gonna say is a conversation needs to be had so that you don't get put in this particular situation. I don't care if you're married, engaged, or just dating. That conversation needs to be had. But also, I think that I don't know how to say this nicer, but I think you need to put your kids in check. And the reason you need to put your kids in check so that they don't try to give you that guilt. I often say I don't think I was born with the guilt gene because I just never was going to allow it to run my life, because I wanted to be who I wanted to be or do what I wanted to do or set up a future for whatever future I wanted to have. I couldn't even fathom that being an issue. No matter if I had 20 kids, it wouldn't have been me. But I would say the conversation needs to be had. Make sure that you put your kids in check so that they understand. Because even at his young age, she could have sat him down and said, listen, I'm with you 24/7. And when I'm not with you, it's just because I want to be more happy doing what I need to do for myself, like get my nails done. Don't you like it when mommy's hair is pretty and nails are pretty and I have a little makeup on my face? Don't you like that? And, I'm only going to be away from you one day out of the week, to just feel good about myself or to just go to a library and be able to read a book and all that kind of stuff. Because I used to do that when y'all were little. I would go to the library downtown and I would read books, and I had friends that I would meet down there, and we would, be looking up grants and stuff in the grants department for books and all of that stuff. We'd be making copies of stuff. We made friends with people at the library, so they would let us copy stuff for free or take a book that we wasn't supposed to take and bring it right back like that same week or whatever. And networking, you already know that I did a lot of networking, and it gave me a chance to hang around other women who were also small business owners that I could have a similar conversation with. Same thing with my car group. I like being able to get out and get with those people because we talk about stuff that we love as far as like our cars. We don't even know what each other does for work or typically don't even know where each other lives or any of that because we're not friends on that level. We're friends on a level of the car conversation. So I like that kind of thing where it enriches. I like to do things that enrich me, gives me an opportunity to enrich other people, and then I can still come home and have whatever life I have.
I agree.
So just to jog your memory, Angie, because I know you said that you don't remember very much from the movie, but so the bored housewife went out with her girlfriend. They ended up running into the ex guy, which was the really handsome guy, right? He was really good looking too, right?
Yeah, he was.
They end up running into him, and then she thought about, well, what if I rekindle this? And then she had the syndrome that most people have is, nobody's going to find out, nobody's going to know type of thing. And so she ended up getting with this full affair with this guy, and it ensues from there. And that's where the roller coaster of everything goes. I don't want to give any more of it away, but the ending just kind of threw me for a loop because I thought, okay, she had her fun, it's all good. And then that ending popped up and I was like, oh my God, like, wow. And I've been waiting for like a year for them to like announce that, maybe there was gonna be something. And it wasn't until like 4 or 5 days ago when I knew we were going to do this show today that I looked it up, and it said, and I don't know what that means literally, but it said season 2 has been approved and they're getting ready to announce the new cast. And I thought, if they change the lead girl, I'm done. They could change the husband because I don't remember much about him. Don't change the guy.
It's not too much of a change or it's going to confuse anyone. What could you change?
They do that. Have you heard the reports on what people are saying about Bridgerton? They are so upset because the main guy,
people,
and they're so upset because they not getting all they little raunchy sex and everything. I'm like, can y'all follow the storyline?
I've heard a couple people that have watched season 1, and when they said that they was going to watch season 2, they said like it didn't catch their attention or something just wasn't the same. I don't know what happened, but
that's what they all
did. They change a lot of people or just that one guy?
They They didn't change nobody. All they did was went on to a new storyline, and the guy is not on there, but his wife and baby is on there. They live in a whole, remember, they moved to a whole nother country to raise their family together. But what the most thing that people are complaining about is the sex. That's what they keep saying, is because the lady on one of these national TV shows, she said, well, it was good, but we didn't get all of that, this, that, and we didn't get the sex. And I was like, how bored are you? I really wanted to know.
Well, because I think a lot of people, when they watch a lot of stuff that's dated that far back, they don't see stuff like that. So I think it definitely was like a shock to them. And so now they didn't see stuff like that and probably want to keep it that way. But
they know slut. They know
everything. You can't.
They know slutting is an old game. People been slutting for a long time. That way back. That's why all the kings had, babies everywhere and women everywhere.
Yeah, but what else have you seen that was like that? That was that.
Do I need to go down the list? I saw the White Queen. I saw Reign.
It was like that.
I saw the Spanish Queen. All of my old movies like that are very sexy. Matter of fact, Bridgerton is not even as sexy as some of the ones. Like some of the ones I have, they even have gay and lesbian raunches on there. No, yeah. I have seen some nasty stuff on these, but I love all my kings and queens shows, especially 1400, 1500, 1600. I've seen probably at this point, because my very first introduction to noticing that I love those shows was Reign. It came on the CW channel back maybe 2016 or something. It's on Netflix right now, by the way. And then I watched Outlander. And let me tell you something, Outlander is straight up halfway porn. And it's very sexy, and it's 1500s. So no, this was like, what are y'all talking about? Have y'all not seen any other movies? But this lady,
I don't think so. No, that's the thing. I don't think so.
Yeah, well, this lady was all on national TV, and she was just all flustered because she didn't see no sex. And I'm saying to myself, I would love to send her a list of all of the kings and queen movies back in the day, and she can look at all of that sex. Because even The Crown was boring. It didn't even show a lot of sex except people cheating around and stuff, but they didn't show the act of it, so you didn't see it. But all of the other shows that I have seen, let me tell you, Bridgerton ain't got nothing on some of these, and they sure don't have anything on Outlander. Child, please. No, they ain't got nothing on them. So but again, I think the name, somebody told me that they didn't watch Sex Life because the name threw them off and they thought it was a reality show.
I don't know how they got that, but
I don't know. And I said, well, no, it's not. I'm like, no. It's actually a series. I don't know if they're going to get a second, because at that time I didn't know. I said, I don't know if they're going to get a second one, but I think it might've been Leila or somebody I was talking to. And I was just telling her, shows that we were going to be talking about, but yeah, it's, I found it very interesting. It kept my attention, and typically this type of movie wouldn't have kept my attention, but I saw the story behind the story and the lesson in it. So I was just kind of like, oh, okay. Well, that's my take on it. And that's my warning for women. And I think it's a very important warning, because this happens every single day. This is not anything new. I've been networking with married people, and they're at the bar catching other people. When I used to go to, I can't say the name of the group, but we traveled all over the world together for this group. And with that particular group, two of them specifically that I was really, really involved in, it was always somebody trying to get somebody else. I mean, I even had married men saying, well, we in a whole nother country. My wife is all the way over in Africa. She's not going to know what's going on over here in Indonesia. And I'm just like, you're crazy.
That's the point.
I've had people, in Asia from other countries saying, and here's the funny thing, and it doesn't just happen for women. It happens to men too. We were on a trip to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And after we were there for 12, 13 days, we got ready to go. We had one person who we were like, oh, we got to go back in the hotel and get so-and-so. He needs to get on the bus. We're going to the airport. We got to get to the airport. He came to the bus and said, I'm not going back. And we said, why? He said, because he met one of the hotel staff ladies and he was going to stay over there and with her. Now, keep in mind, he got a whole wife back in California. Do you know that we was on the bus like, what? And this is a very prestigious man. This is a man who's a high value man when it comes to the type of company that he's created for himself, the type of speaker level that he created for himself. He was just there with us for the leadership program. He said, I'm not going back. And do you know he stayed over in Asia for 4 years, and then his wife took him back, and he's now in California with his wife. You couldn't have came back to California. Not with me. But he stayed with that hotel. He stayed with that hotel staff lady. And I don't know if they had kids and all that stuff, but he never went back home until he just went back home 4 years ago. So this kind of stuff, I'm trying to tell you, it happens all the time. And I see it, and I'll just be like, I don't even know how you got there. So with this lady here, though, in Sex Life, I saw how she got there.
Yeah.
I absolutely saw how she got there, because she literally was bored, and she needed the fire to be ignited again. And because her husband was so straight-laced and corporate-y, that's the funny thing, how people are corporate type people, but then they bring the corporate stuff home. It's like, leave that at the door when you leave that job. And when you walk into this door, this is all about our excitement. Forget about that job. I don't want to really hear about, all the people you had to cuss out. I don't want to know about the people you had to hire. Like, let's save that conversation for after we get, our family life going on. If on the weekend you want to tell me about it, fine. And I don't even mind hearing about it on a daily basis, but that's not going to be our whole conversation all night long.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
What's the perspective of couples that are like, whether they're married or together, just dating? Like, some people do get too comfortable, where they just stop doing what they used to do.
Well, that I don't have a problem with, because I have a philosophy that if we're not married, I'm available. I don't care if we're dating for 10 years. If we're not married, I'm available.
I'm just saying, for that few percent, the ones that are.
Yeah. Because if you haven't put a ring on anything, and you haven't promised to marry me or anything like that, you're not going to get 100% of me regardless, because that's the thing. You want level 10, but you only purchase level 1. That doesn't work for me. So don't expect that just because I'm your girlfriend, I'm going to give you wife values, and I'm going to give you wife everything else. No, I don't have time to play around like that with nobody. So that's my philosophy. So until you're married to that person, you're still available for whoever else you want to be available for. And if you don't like that particular type of scenario, then stay single, because it's too much energy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But this lady here was completely married, had a child. And it's so funny, she lived out in the suburbs, but when she got ready to go downtown, she got downtown, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
She sure did. So we make time for what you want to do. That ain't no lie. Mm-hmm. All right, then. Well, this is our show for today. Again, we're just talking about Sex Life on Netflix, and I gave you 5 warnings for women. I hope that you take heed to them. And before you even think about anything that we said, I hope that you get a chance to go over and watch Sex Life before that 2nd season goes out. Our next show, we'll be talking about Inventing Anna. Again, these topics are only going to be on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Our Friday showcase is still Friday, and Saturday are out and about. But our next topic will be Inventing Anna, and that's going to be on Sunday. So stay tuned for that one. But in the meantime, I hope you do find some time where you can watch Sex Life. It is one of those that if you want to knit or you want to do something else, you can watch it in the background and still get what's going on. So you don't have to like put everybody to the side and close the door and lock yourself in a room. You might want to do that from the kids so that they don't see what's going on there. But it is really a really nice show to watch, and completely for adults. And I would say especially for those who are in relationships, because it kind of teaches. Again, it taught me something. So I always look at stuff like, what can I learn? And that's what I learned from that one. But that's our show for today. Angie, tell them what they need to do, because I'm so excited. Do you know that we got over 50 something new people on Instagram in the last 7 days? And even at the Women's Expo that we went to on Saturday, we had like 6 people from there right in my face join us on Instagram. And then I joined them back, of course, when I got back to the hotel that night. So I'm so excited to say thank you for those that are following us on Instagram, as well as listening to the podcast on YouTube. That's very exciting. And the more people that we meet, the more people that we'll be able to get comments from on what the topic is. If you've ever gone through a situation like this, where you've gotten the bored housewife or the bored relationship syndrome, and you stepped out, and either you regretted it or you didn't, or maybe you ended up with that other person, put it down in the comments so we can read the comments. We just never know what people are going through, but it's always something exciting going on.
Yes, and before we let you go, please continue to subscribe. Keep commenting on our content, whether it's on our channel, Podbean, our Instagram. Keep liking and sharing. I do see a lot of people that share
Mhm.
our link to their sisters or mothers and stuff, and I don't even be asking them, but
Right.
appreciate it. We like to see our numbers go up and our supporters engaging with us.
Absolutely. We have so many big plans and we want to take you guys along with us. We've got so many things coming up as far as being in different places and showing certain things. And it's pretty exciting. But that's our show for today. And bye for now.
Bye.